everyone, and welcome back. Today we are going to play the deck that I would argue was probably one of the most hated decks prior to the rotation, before we lost that extra token maker in Boros Convoke. This deck is an absolute nightmare to play against, and it can be very, very frustrating because just like the affinity decks that we're looking at today, this deck kind of does that already, but it does it for 0 mana. We're playing a 1 mana 3/4 in affinity. This is playing a 0 mana 4/4 that grabs 2 creatures, which is our new Gear Hulk that everybody's in love with right now, built into a free spell. So it's very frustrating to play against, but that's why we're going to play it. So what are we doing? What is this deck? Where has it been? Well, this deck highly revolves around Gleeful Demolition. This card is a destroy target artifact. If you control that artifact, create 3 1/1 red Phyrexian Goblin creature tokens. Now we have Nesting Bot, which is both an artifact. The first mode, like the first side of it is, and then even when it dies, that servo is now also an artifact. So that allows you, if you have 2 Gleeful Demolitions in your opener, and say you have 2 blue or red white sources in that opener, even a Merix will work technically. You play Nesting Bot, you can use Gleeful Demolition on Nesting Bot, and then use Gleeful Demolition on the second part of the kind of servo. And if you have Start Your Engines, if you play this on turn 1, you can hit your opponent first, and then do that, put that speed up to 2, and then have 6 creatures in play, making a card like Case or Immodange Recruiter very, very lethal. That's already kind of insane. That's turn 2, 6 creatures. It can get even worse. So we have the typical Warden in the Inner Sky and the Inspector that also makes a token for Gleeful Demolition as well. So we could do Nesting Bot, Inspector, and then just use the map or whatever, or the clue, I guess. Whatever that may be. However, where the deck is most frustrating to a lot of people is Knight Errant of Eos, because a lot of 1/1s are dealable with. Like, you can play any kind of, like, there's a lot of 2 mana 3/3s, or like 2 mana 2/3s, or a 2/2. They can block a lot of the 1/1 creatures. But where this deck becomes the most kind of frustrating is when it comes to Knight Errant of Eos. This is a 5 mana spell, allegedly, but it has Convoke on it. This creature enters, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You reveal up to 2 creature cards with mana value X or less from among them, where X is the number of creatures that convoked this creature. Put the revealed cards into our hand. So oftentimes it's going to be turn 1 Inspector, turn 2 Gleeful Demolition, play another 1-drop, cast a Knight Errant of Eos for free, or at worst case for us, do it for 4 mana because we only have 4 creatures in play. And then we get to grab any creature in our deck that fits that description. This vehicle unfortunately does not, but we do have a lot of creatures that fit the description here, and it helps our turns 3, 4, and 5 be as effective as possible. We do have a couple of new cards that I'm going to cover very quickly, and other than that, we'll just hop right into our games. That's going to be the Glide Car. Glide Car is a very sick card. I underrated this card. I played Annabelle's in it for a while, and then I put these like back up to 3. I only had 1 in the deck for a minute, but this card is very cool. When it enters, you scry 1, which is obviously nice on its own for 1 mana kind of creature. It has Crew 1, which feels like a very low rate for a card like this, but you can tap 3 other untapped creatures you control until in a turn it becomes an artifact creature with flying and gets a 1/1 counter. The thing about this card that doesn't necessarily read to itself on first glance is you can do that mode multiple times. So that turn where we talked about like the Nesting Bot, obviously this is kind of a god hand of sorts, but that turn we talked about Nesting Bot and that Gleeful Demolition blowing it up and having 6 creatures in play. If we have a Glide Car, we can actually use that second mode to tap 3 other creatures on nose, bring this up, put a counter on it on our opponent's end step, and then we can do it again even though it's already a creature. You can do it over and over again as long as the creatures are kind of there to fuel it. It's a little bit different than Warden of the Inner Sky that can only be activated as a sorcery. You can turn this creature into a very large blocker or attacker if need be on just your opponent's end step. You don't even have to commit to doing that right away, which is obviously really nice. Outside of that, we have Hazaret to kind of activate in the speed in terms of start your engines and then getting max speed. But it is indestructible. It does have haste. Main thing you have to do is use the 1 mana mode to make these smaller creatures kind of deal that damage to get the speed up. if need be, and then the Hazoret can attack or block unless you have max speed. But there is one super cool trick with this. My dog is squeaking a toy. I'm sorry. If you bring this up for its crew cost, it will fit underneath Hazoret's kind of ability. So we can do that, make this unblockable, attack, get past the blocks, and then use its ability to add extra counters to it and hit our opponent for much more. And that's obviously very nice for us. So my dog's starting to squeak her toy, so I'm going to go ahead and call it. And we're going to go ahead and get into the games. And it's already been a really long intro. So let's go game. All right. Well, I mean, we have like the combo, right? We got Spot to turn on the engines. We have Gleeful Demolition to do everything else. Definitely latching onto this hand over pretty much anything else. Engines, start, go. Lights, camera, action, blue. Nothing else kind of going on there. Attack, hit, engine, queued up. Mountain. We could play Hazoret here. I kind of want to play the Gleeful Demolition now. Yeah, I think Gleeful Demolition is the way to go. Gotta get our creatures out, and then we cast a Night Errant of Eos on turn 2, which seems fair and balanced, and I love it so much. Isn't that cool? Wasn't that fair? Like, we're like so pumped in Affinity to play like a 1-mana 3/4, and I'm like, what if I play a 1-mana 4/4 or a 0-mana 4/4 that grabs me 2 creatures? It's wild, man. It's so crazy. All right, our opponent goes first. Our hand should be fine. We play this, case something, but they could be kind of too fast, but we'll see. Definitely see. Man, is a little restricted with these verges because they're basic planes right now, you know. That's fine with what our hand is, I guess. We're ready to go. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. I was like, cap the opener, boss. Up on you. Scavengers, Shelter by Ghosts, obviously going to suck here. So I go with Novice Inspector. Hopefully that's fine. Maybe they'll play 2-mana Mouse, and we can just case one of the creatures away. Then we can play and case another one away. Kind of the vibe that I have right now. Let us see. Oh boy. Oh boy. It is turn 2 and our brain is broken. Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Our opponent's a gamer, that's for sure. Here's a Nesting Bot. Here's a Gleeful Demolition. I'll say go. Do have like maybe one more creature to put in if we draw one to play this case and blow up a creature. Be nice. Scavenger, there's a Monstrous Rage coming. I would assume that's what this is. Obviously, I'm going to force them to use Monstrous Rage. Or not. Alright, cool. With 1 red mana available, we do find another creature, which is huge. We'll play this. And then we'll play this case. Bully this thing out of our road. Then it's definitely like an aggressive turn. I don't think much changes outside of this attack. Sure. That case is going to be active either way, so it doesn't really matter to us. Gleeful Demolition was a crazy draw. And I think it just goes to show how good that card is. You can see, like, the amount of pressure that we turned up just on that turn 2 alone. You get... Okay. Yes. Uh-huh. Sounds good. 2 3/3s. Here. Here. Is 10 worth it? I mean, it's at least 3 creatures you gotta attack here, I think. Just give him menace. Yeah, I think so. We could definitely still lose here. A ruckus with the shelter by ghost is obviously enough to potentially get the job done. We do have to be somewhat careful. Although this is going to get +1. I guess I'm not even really going to block that anyway. Who knows? Who knows indeed. But I do have 3 damage on each creature here, so let's say do shelter by ghost. Okay. Well, I think we have it all covered now. Very cool. Huh? Yep. Back. Huh. Sure. Yeah. Cool. We move on. All right, we go first. We will keep, I think. Like a good keep. We'll start off with Warden, then we'll play Nesting Bot, Inspector, then Scry, then hopefully hit that speed up to 2. Hopefully. That's the goal anyway. Waiting on our opponent. Okay, I've seen these sleeves multiple times now. They seem way less special. I don't know what they're from. I have no idea. I haven't looked in the store. I don't typically check the store, to be honest. I look and see if like the free gold and stuff's there, and then if it's not, I just move on and call it a day. Every now and then at the beginning of sets I'll look, so that, I would assume that's where that's from. But we'll go Nesting Bot, we'll play Inspector, we'll do a double little Scry here, or do a little Scry, not a double Scry, I guess. And it's a land we'll keep, we'll try to attack, hopefully no smite. Smite happens. Our engine moves up to 2, which is obviously very nice. Then, do we Arabelle next turn? Probably. Feels like the right move. You go Fabrication Foundry, so we have to worry about Synthesizer. Temporary Lockdown's not very possible here. So, what? 2 mana, play a Knight Errant seems correct. Grab Inspector, Nesting Bot. And they'll probably look to go Synthesizer or like the Sacrifice thing. And we'll look to hit them for a ton. Hopefully. Allegedly. I don't even know if that does. Make 2 1/1s? That's pretty cool. Pretty interesting choice. So I can make 3 creatures here. I'm definitely attacking. There's just no way I'm not. I probably could have played these and dealt way more damage with Arabelle, but I was kind of like wanting to maybe Scry, do this, even though that's like an awful reason not to. Block 1, block 2. Sure. Yeah, this is just like really poor play by me. The more I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, wow, I just missed out on like 7 damage, but at least it feels that way. Now, I would play Inspector here, but I'm going to play the Nesting Bot because if they do walk right into like the 5 mana board wipe, I can at least make 2 tokens and flash in the reinforcements. So something like an Imidane Recruiter is just incredible. That land can go. And then I will pass. Obviously, holding up our sneaky card. For 1 mana to have sacrifice, you gain 3 life. Sure. Card's seeming better and better now that I'm looking at it. Maybe they won't sacrifice it. Maybe they stop playing. Who knows? Okay. They gain that 3 life to go to 15. See it. Board wipe. This can't help cast Sunfall, so they typically play like the 5 mana, like where your opponent gets to keep 1 creature, which is kind of I assume repurposing bay for 2. Or repurposing bay for 3. Sacrifice 2 mana creature. Go get a 3 mana or 3 mana artifact. Not 2 mana creature. I'm all over the place. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Holy moly, bro. But we should have enough to cover it. All right. Got to be Arabelle, it feels like. That is perfectly fine with me. Arabelle does more damage in general, so we'll play this. We'll do this. We'll let that go, and then we'll move to combat. We'll attack. Arabelle will deal 7 on her own, and it should be lethal from there. And it definitely is. So we get to dodge the kind of board wipe that we were looking to face, and whatever that it was. But we'll move on. Very cool. All right, going first with this hand doesn't feel like the best thing of all time. I don't know if I have a choice. Seems like okay. We'll try. I just don't know if this is bad enough to have mulligan, right? You know what I mean? Like a little bit weird. We'll go with the Verge, I guess. Or do I just play like... Maybe I just play this and then I just flash these in the next turn and deal 4 damage to my opponent. Depending what they are. They could be Boros like control, which would suck. Boros like caretaker talent nonsense, which is definitely possible. We'll see. We'll see. On top, 1 mana. Bolt Wave. They're Boros Burn. Okay. Well, fantastic, because Arabelle gains life. Now gain 3. We'll just fully swing that life total difference around. Very sick. If they are actually burned, that is. A Bolt Wave isn't everything, but it feels like everything. I think they just realized that Arabella is going to gain us a lot of life if they don't deal with it. It might even be a situation where we shelter by ghost it, but I'm going to have a hard time turning away 5 damage off of it and gaining 5. They're on 2 mana and they've kept the card on top. I think they made that decision before realizing what Arabella was going to do. But now they're in the tank. We'll see what's up here. What do we have? Another tap land. So they're on budget burn. Like, it feels like. Not saying that it is. It feels like that a bit. Do I go for reinforcements or do I go for case? I think I go for second reinforcements. Try to get Arabella to trigger a lot more. Now, obviously, they can kind of hit it down as I move to combat while I declare as attacker and I deal 5. So, you're taking a lot of damage here. First lightning. Okay, so Arabella should go down to 4. They deal 4, gain 4. We're up to 24 to 10. Could be like a screaming nemesis now, but so they know. I have 1 more reinforcement. Unless they get rid of that, I'm killing. But they do. No artifact outside of this, which is obviously very nice for us. We'll attack for 3. We'll play the Glycar. Arabella is cool, but I think I let it go here. And then I think it's just Gleeful Demolition this thing. Take a ton of creatures against the burn matchup. And then we have a case to play to remove whatever creature out of the way we need to. Or we can do Shelter by Ghost, but now their instant sorceries do have lifelink. So something like a Lightning Helix gains 6 life here. It's obviously not great. A land hit. Okay. Case. I don't think even if I play Immodane's Recruiter that I have enough for lethal here. I'm going to remove this out of the way. They're going to have to fire off this spell now. Deal 4, gain 4. Sure. That thing is moved out of the way. A lot of damage. Up and ready. Our case is turned on. Now Immodane is insanely lethal, unless of course a Brother's Hood end or something happens here. And nothing will. Okay, very cool. Interesting deck to be playing. I think the tap lands obviously don't help a ton. Because, like, how long it kind of takes you to get started. Casting Bolt Wave on turn 2 because of Scryland seems pretty like a tough sell. But they also could play a lot of untapped lands. It just didn't get there, right? So, it is what it is. We'll move on. All right, we get to go first here. Very interesting hand. Very cool hand. We'll do it. We'll do it. That's for sure. Play a Warden. Warden always seems like the correct one to start off with. Obviously, maybe it's Inspector with a hand like this. Plains, lay down arms. That would suck. Novice Inspector. Okay. Interesting. Aetherdrift. A block. Okay. Don't want to let me start my speed, bruh? What's that about? Ah, that's not good. That's not good at all for me. Sure. Regaining 2 here, or oh, they are. They're gonna let me increase my speed anyway, which is great. I'm not sure I like subscribe to that, to be honest. Let's play recruit reinforcements, and I'm gonna play this to kind of scry here. Another land is actually exactly what we want. And then we're going to increase the speed. And the reason we want the land is so we can pay this ward cost when a creature is sheltered by ghost. Unless, of course, they shelter by ghost it again. Then it's like 4 on the ward cost. And obviously we can't beat that. But casing and going from there is obviously going to be a big upgrade. They play their own Aetherdrift. Okay. Interesting. Play case. We target here. I am aware of the ward cost, and I am willing to pay the ward cost to remove this creature from the game. Yeah. So we go to combat here. Attack like this. They'll block, but we get our case to activate and we increase our speed count. So obviously it's kind of all good from there. And then we have this to crew up with our Aetherdrift, so it's not like we're missing out on the damage. We honestly hope they kind of mess up thinking that the damage is free here. Obviously, they should know as much as we do that the Aetherdrift is not able to block without max speed. One of the downsides is we don't really have a way to turn the damage on otherwise. Now they're playing the same thing, so you're in the mirror fully, as you could imagine. There's a Warden, sure. Sure. Ah, they didn't attack. Didn't attack me. That's sad. So we're gonna play Novice Inspector. You can tap a couple things down, get that kind of combat damage in. They can tap 3 creatures to make sure that this gets flying, but then it'll get removed. Alright, we'll be able to block after this turn, kind of hopefully, I guess. We don't have a block that works here. That's a 2/3, I guess. Flash this in now. Case is already activated, so it's not like we necessarily have to do much else. I guess tap it like this. I can go to the bottom. Just to make sure a creature hits. Maybe that's what we do. We just go that route instead. Yeah, I think this is fine. Now our max speed's online. It's unblockable. Sure. Uh-huh. Still get hit, sure. Go ahead. Sure. Maybe not the best card, but they could have a Knight Errant, so that could be what they're looking to do. We have to remember our Aetherdrift is able to attack. Theirs is not. That's 4 creatures, so most likely our Warden's going down here, which is a little tough, obviously. through this. Bye-bye, friend. Bye-bye. What will we do now? Are we scrying with our warden here? It's sorcery speed, so they'll have to if they want to. Sure. We're prioritizing it as well. Sure. My turn. There's a little bot. Let us go for let's sacrifice this first. Get a Mirix. Okay. Play a nesting bot. I feel like we're supposed to be the aggressive player here. It feels that way. Let us go to combat like this. Let's see what they do. If they crew up the village bot, I should be able to activate the glide card, tapping my other 3 creatures and giving it a counter and causing only my glide card to actually trade off here. Looks like we might already be in blocks. We are. Okay. Sure. We get to deal 2 damage, which is pretty sweet. And they're starting to lose creatures and we keep ours. That's the main thing here, is like getting to keep our creatures and them losing their creatures is obviously everything. Obviously nesting bot replaces itself, but like it can only happen once. Now we're in this turn. What are we doing now? Danes make 2 2/2s. Okay. We're definitely in a weird spot, that's for sure. Definitely in a weird spot. Our opponent's highlighting literally every card they own. Sure. Yeah. Doesn't keep vigilance. But Aetherdrift's able to block now. Because they'll have speed 4, which is okay. Do that to make a counter on here. Alright, so there's reinforcements. I think we might be able to blow them out with that. They play Danes next turn. That's what? 1, 2. That's so we block, I don't know, Aetherdrift and a 3 damage. So that's what? 3, 6, most likely the car's coming up. But if they crew it up, we'll block Aetherdrift and that. So it's what? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Interesting play. So I guess we let them cash out and then we try to win on backswing. Aetherdrift will just pump off of each other, so there's no real reason to swing them. Do I want to get in at all? I don't think I can. Let's just pass here, I think. That's the thing about Dane's Recruiter. It's just so hard to kind of play around. Now we can give our glide car even more counters here. I think you can activate it more than once a turn, so we can put a couple counters on the instep here. They go nesting bot. Will they go Dane's here? Because again, we went on crackback. 3 mana activates. 1, 2, 3. Love to find an Imadanes herself. Sure. Or the crackback win will probably happen. Sure. We want an all-out attack. They go for it. Fantastic. So we're going to play this. We just have to kind of block and trade out the way we see fit. Nesting bot can block because we'll make a creature out of it. I didn't bring this up now, which is obviously a problem. We want to trade off the car so we don't have to worry about it anymore. We want to trade off the biggest creature we can. And then I guess we could... We take the rest to... That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we can't take the rest. So we need to make sure every block is a trade. That we do. So we want to get the vigilance creatures out so they're fully tapped out, right? So now we have 6, 7, 8 damage. Sure. This makes sense? Huh? Here, and here. You want to do these ones because these creatures will be leaving the battlefield this turn? Sure. And the thing I believe we get to do here, we get to go activate. We can even do one more time here. Here, make a might, and then crew this up and attack out. All right, well, I mean, we have the old-fashioned start to this deck, so we're definitely going to keep. We're going to go Inspector into Gleeful Demolition into Warden, and we're going to get a little bit of scry action going. The only thing that's better than this is a Knight Errant, obviously, but we'll see. You never know. Just like old times, we could just draw it. That'd be very cool for us. Obviously, not our opponent. Tap. Oh my! There's no way we actually draw it, right? So I can go Warden. It's so stupid, dude. It actually is like genuinely upsetting how easy playing a 4-mana creature for free on turn 2 is. Just, yeah, dude, sure, I'll just take them all. Why not? We'll just take the cool creature as well, because it feels like we're going to be able to get the speed up here. At least it feels that way. Green white 2 mana, get lost coming in. Sure, those map tokens are free. This one. Uh-huh. Yep. I'll take a little less damage here just to get an additional scry, I think. Which I mess up, obviously. I just kind of wasn't thinking about it. I'm just dumb, and bad at the game. So, that's fine. Shelter by Ghost number 2 can go to the bottom. Temporary lockdown comes in. We then Shelter by Ghost, seek Recruiter, take away the temporary lockdown. They play a tap land, so we should be fine. Could be, allegedly. Kind of, sort of, maybe. Sure. Nesting bot. No pause. Shelter by Ghost. Here. Remove that. And then I don't know if it's enough. I'm just gonna do the scry and not count, and like this deck, like, I know I'm playing it, right? This deck makes me so unbelievably mad. It's just like, it's Affinity before we started playing Affinity again. It's so annoying. But it is what it is. It's a deck that's coming back. We have to play it. Oh boy. A weird hand. We'll keep though because we're on the play. So we can kind of play a little bit of a weirder hand. Go for a Resolute Reinforcements on their instep. And then case something down. Can't really do that right now, obviously. We'll go for land. We'll auto pass. Another land hit's not ideal by any means. A 1-mana creature would be best, so whenever we reinforcement, we can then do it again. If they tap out here, we can flash in a reinforcement to double block. But we'll see what they do. Pass blocks, they do nothing. Sure. Flash. And this is where we definitely need like the one more creature, I think. Maybe. Hey, we found it. Nice. Novice Inspector. Well, they clearly have a mana held open, and if it's a removal spell or even a monster rage, we can't really do anything. So I'm just gonna hold for one more turn. Double attack here. And who knows, maybe we'll get to play this and fire off a lethal attack on the back end. Screaming Nemesis. Manifold Mouse, okay. Manifold Mouse doesn't have prowess, so we're fine here. Sure. Do we throw a block intentionally? I don't think so. I'll let them monster rage whatever they want. Sure. It seemed like they were getting impatient. They kept highlighting their creature every turn, or like every chance they got. So it felt like impatience, but you never know. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It's kind of like a weird game you have to play. So let's go for a case. The most dangerous creature on the board right now is the Manifold Mouse. I want to activate the case, so I will attack like this. We'll end our turn. Case will turn on, and now we will have lethal if we don't have to block anything here. Emberheart Challenger, sure. Are we dead to a Monstrous Rage? So Monstrous Rage is +3 on its own. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ugh. We can block with one creature though. Do I have to block with both creatures? I mean, I guess if they have second Monstrous Rage, it's a bust anyway, so it's whatever. Block here. Yeah, we kind of assume they have it. They always seem to have it, but at lethal, it should be, right? We go to 12 life. Oh, we live at 1? Look at us, dude. Aren't we good? Now we get to hit them with the oops. As we get there. Very funny. Nice. Good game. They hit us with your go while we were thinking, assuming they just had lethal, but very cool. I could have did the math a little bit better just to ensure. So thankfully we did block correctly. I had a great time. Thankfully we did block this and not this. If we block this, we actually lose the game, I think. But cool. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so here we are. This is the deck list we played today. As you can see, I called it Wow, I Hate It. And quite frankly, I kind of do. Like, this deck was always so frustrating to play against right away that it kind of sucks to have to play against it here again. I did change it up a little bit to kind of play this card because I loved this card at first, like the idea of it, and I didn't know how I felt about this card in general, which is probably a card I should have played considering I'm creating content and it is a new card. However, after playing with it one time in the mirror, it is 100% cut this card, play these cards. I don't even have them all. I have 9 rares left, man. This season's getting to me, taking all my rares, mythics, and wild cards. But this card was actually very good. I didn't even realize that you could do it. I thought at first it was like only activate once a turn or like at sorcery speed or something. But card turned out to be much better than I thought. It's kind of a secret way to do Warden of the Inner Sky on those end steps where you have a lot of creatures where you kind of had to hold back. Or you can just bring this up and do it multiple times. Whereas you saw in that matchup where we played the mirror that on the end step, I turned this into a massive creature by tapping creatures to bring it up the first time, tapping them while it's already up to do it again, and then tapping it one additional time after a creature like Nesting Bot and something else had died and made more copies. Maybe it was 2 nesting bots, but we made more copies of creatures, so we were able to do it again. So it was really nice. Outside of that, it's Boros Convoke. It's good. It's back on the play. It just feels so unstoppable that it's hard to argue with. I mean, game 1 right away took like barely a minute to do. We took more time mulliganing than we actually did playing the match. It's an absurd deck overall, but it's good. It is what it is. I hope you all enjoyed. It is fun to play. Like, honestly, it is fun to play. I just know it's going to be annoying to play against on ladder, and that's why it's so frustrating. But it is what it is, and I hope you all enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.